And welcome back. Good to see you. Good to see you. This is just a brief, um, sort of beginner's guide or introductory into feeling ether for you young would-be alchemists. Um, I guess the way I tune to ether or keter, as like it's said in like Kabbalah mysticism or Jewish mysticism, um, for me it's spirit. For me it's like the essence of everything that is, like the essence of like this like stone. So like the color of like this stone right here and this copper, which is very important with alchemy because it's very conductive. But like take this like blue kyanite stone, excellent stone to use. Um, Say you have, I think I've said this before in another video, but say you have uh, three-dimensional senses. Right now, all you see is like a blue cayenne colored stone wrapped in this like beautiful copper metal. Um, it's essential, absolutely essential, that you have at least a fourth dimensional sense of reality for you to do a transmutation, or at least to perform a transmutation the way I'll be teaching you guys. Now, with fourth dimensional senses, one can feel the ether flowing off of this stone. One can feel the properties and the actual information that's being emitted from this stone. Someone with just three-dimensional senses, um, I guess that would be classified as someone who's not spiritually or alchemically or ethereally awake. Um, they'll only see a cayenne stone, but probably for me and you, or for people with fourth dimensional senses or higher, we can sense the ether that is in this stone. And there's ether being emitted from all physical objects, um, all physical fields, all atoms. If you only have three-dimensional senses and you're skeptical of this, then how do you explain gravity? How do you explain air? How do you explain the orbit that all atomic particles have? How do you explain that? That's ether. How do you explain the internet? How do you explain wireless connection? How do you explain, calling your phone and not, there not being at least a cord or something connected? It's that space. And actually, those are just like homunculus. And I'll talk about homunculus, which are like artificial or not real. They're just false or cheap imitations of ether. And um, Wi-Fi connection is an example of a cheap or a cheap imitation of the astral realm. And but more on ether, it's valuable. It's absolutely vital that you have these kind of senses so that you can perform your alchemy. Um, Something that you can do, a little exercise you can do is if you can feel what's coming off of like a stone or what's coming off of anything, if you have fourth dimensional senses, what you can do is something that this will change your life. This is how I set up the space um, for an alchemy like ritual or a scientific procedure. Just the basics. Take a piece of paper, right? One piece of paper. Write down a goal. Write down something that you're in the process of achieving something that you want to have done in your life, write it down on that piece of paper. Something that hasn't been done yet, by the way. Something that you're striving towards. Write it down. Put it in the middle of the room somewhere. Don't stand on it. Stand in front of it. Look down on it. And be one step away from stepping on it. And tune into how you feel then. Then step onto the piece of paper. And tune into the energy of the piece of paper. And start feeling the ether of what it is you want to have accomplished coming through your body and changing your previous state of being. That's not just feeling ether, but that's performing a basic spiritual ritual or transmutation in this field, as I would call it. That's how you get started, and that's a very, very powerful technique. You can do a lot of things doing just that technique alone. You can get your adepthood shooting if you're able to understand, if you're able to read the energy, if you have those senses activated within yourself. And of course you do. You just have to choose it. You have to choose whether or not you want to have fourth dimensional senses or higher, whether or not you want to, run the gauntlet. I'm not saying it's always easy to perform transmutations and stuff, but that is a simple exercise to get you started with working with ether, doing transmutations, and just feeling stuff out. But stones are great. Blue kyanite is great. I have a large stone collection, and a large, or I wouldn't say large, a decent collection of ethers. But the point of ether is to collect it, bring it together, raise the vibration of something, and birth something new into existence. That's fundamental to alchemy. So understanding ether. I'm studying the Qliphoth, the Tree of Death, and I'm also working with demons right now, demonic entities. I usually work with angelic entities, and I still do. I'm partially an angelic entity, but sorry to burst your bubble. Sorry if that scares you. Don't. They're really nice, by the way. They're really sweet. They're like people. You approach them with love, and then they'll approach you with love. If you want to be a student of theirs, they'll be a teacher to you. They're, I guess I'll get into that later. But the opposite of ether, I guess it's getting a little too far, is what's called Eunia. That's what I'm learning about. But I guess I'll talk about that later when I gain more knowledge and experience about it. But that's ether. Practice with it. I encourage you to practice sensing ether, using ether, collecting ether. It's valuable. It's a valuable asset. Okay, that's it. Have a nice day.